What else is to kind of wrap things up here? What is something else that you want to see, or maybe that you have seen and you're not sure what they're doing with it, um, that could push forward the org gameplay, the group gameplay in the next couple of years?
I think it's probably going to be base building, and outposts. Outpost control, things like planetary refineries. Having a location, a resource that is worth owning is essentially having your group stationed there. Like you can imagine, like these refineries that are planet side are suddenly really worth holding because you can get much better output from them or something, right? So you put in your ore, your minerals, your resources, and then out come really high value refined resources, that kind of thing. That something simple like that would provide a really nice hotspot, a really nice point of interest or an objective for you to go into a server as an org and say, we're going to do mining today, but we're going to completely maximize the profits we're going to make from the mining by holding the refinery at Kudre or Outpost or something on Daymar, right? So, okay, cool. Then we'll bring a couple of fighters, like maybe a hammerhead, maybe a couple of tanks in case we need ground units or something, and we'll go there, we'll hold it, we'll get the miners in, they'll refine some goods, we'll get the output, we'll make a lot of money. It's kind of like the same principle of Jumptown, but it connects more organic gameplay elements. It connects some of the other gameplay loops like mining to it.
Yeah, and it's a self-made objective.
Yeah, something like that would be amazing for all gameplay. I think those kind of things are what can really accelerate your gameplay and give you more reasons to play together and more reason to exist as an org.
And they've talked about like our bases being able to do that kind of stuff, right? Like mining bases and refining bases and stuff like that.
They've hinted at it. I think they've really talked about it much, but I think we've seen like the colonial outposts, the refinery modules, and they've shown that there are refinery modules there, and they're working on them. We know that kind of thing will be a thing at some point in the future. It's just they need to be worthwhile to use. They need to be worthwhile to hold, and probably there'll be an expense involved with having your own structures, won't there? You'll need to probably put in resources to keep it running, and get something out of it as well, ultimately.
Yeah, and always having people there to keep it running or to defend it. I mean, that could be an around-the-clock kind of thing for an org.
Yeah. I mean, I ultimately don't really want to see that kind of thing in Star Citizen, where you have to have 24-hour around-the-clock protection of your assets. I don't really want to see that personally. No, I think if you're going to have like player outposts and things, I think there needs to be vulnerability periods. I think there needs to be like periods of time where this station or this outpost is vulnerable and can be attacked and destroyed. I don't want to see situations where it's like Rust, where you log off for the night and you come back in the morning and everything you built is gone. It's a tough one because I don't know how CIG could ever approach that, but I have a few ideas. But whether it ever goes that way or not, who knows? But yeah, I think in order to keep it just fun for everybody in a game like this, I think when it comes to player base building, I don't know if they should always be vulnerable. Maybe it depends on where you build them. Maybe if you build them in like low sec space, there.
Yeah, I think that could definitely add to it. Yeah. But
man.
It's an interesting base building is going to be a very complicated thing for them to take on and allow players to start doing.
Very complicated. I mean, when you throw in shards and everything as well, like if I build a refinery on shard 42 and you're on shard 43, are you even going to see that refinery? Who's going to see? Obviously we don't know 100% how the entire server meshing thing is going to pan out and how we're all going to play together in this big universe, but it's looking a lot like shards.
Yeah,
and how they're going to approach that with base building, I don't know.
Big questions around that for sure. That's
big questions.
Yeah, base building is going to be a big part of this game. I think it's going to be one of the biggest things that this game has to offer when it eventually does. Like nobody even thinks about it now, right? We're all thinking about how spaceships
Mm.
fly together, how does like mining work, uh, like what is how many outposts are on this moon. But when base building becomes a thing, that's just going to completely change people's incentive of playing this game, and it's going to be important how they go about it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's quite a lot of people own Pioneers. Those things sell out
Yeah.
quick.